A+ലേക്കുള്ള വഴി ഇനി തനിയെ തുറക്കാം. Subscribe to the ENCLAPS channel. Ring the bell button and open success. It's that easy.
Welcome to the wonders of life. Is it normal to get wound on our bodies? What do we do when we are injured? If it is a large wound, it should be bandaged to stop the flow of blood. Then, get to the hospital as soon as possible. It wouldn't matter if it was a small wound, does it? What is the reason? Small wounds do not cause much blood loss. The wound will dry on its own. How does bleeding from a wound stop on its own? There's a complex operation going on behind it. The mechanism is called blood clotting. Blood clotting is not only an action that prevents blood loss, but also an immune function. This is because it is easy for the germs to enter the body through the wound. How does blood clotting work? Let's get acquainted with the stages. In the first stage, tissues and platelets at the site of the wound degenerate to form the enzyme called thromboplastin. Prothrombin in the plasma, in the presence of thromboplastin and calcium, vitamin K, gets converted into thrombin. Fibrinogen, a fibrin fibers in the presence of thrombin. The red blood cells and platelets get entangled in the network of fibrin fibers to form the blood clot. Clotting helps us to prevent blood loss and prevent the entry of diseases through the wound. As the blood clot, the wound healing process begins. Sometimes the wound heals, but the scar remains in the place of the wound, right? What is the reason for this? Wound healing is a stage after blood clotting. In such cases, the scar will not remain. But in the similar cases, the scar cannot be replaced. The joint scar heals the wound. In such cases, the scar remains as such. Wound infection slows down wound healing. With a strong immune system, wound heal is faster and the risk of infection is reduced. Did you know that the normal body temperature is 37 degrees Celsius or 98 degrees Fahrenheit? Fever is a condition in which the body temperature rises above the normal level. Is fever a disease or a symptom? To know that, we need to analyze why and how body temperature rises. Do you want to know? Then let's start. Germs enter the body. The presence of toxins produced by the germs stimulate white blood cells. Chemicals produced by the white blood cells cause a rise in the body temperature. Rising body temperature reduces the rate of multiplication of pathogens and increases the effect of phagocytosis. What do we learn from this? Isn't it clear that fever is also an immune response? What do we do when we have a fever? In cases where the infection is out of control, the temperature may rise sharply. Then you can take anti-fever medications for temporary relief, but the real cause of the fever needs to be found and treated. An elevated temperature may adversely affect the internal organs, including the brain. Therefore, in case of fever, medical attention should be sought as soon as possible. We are talking about the systems in our body to fight off pathogens. It can be said that there are two types of immune system in our body. One is the general mechanism and the other one is the specific defense. General immunity is the same as against all germs, regardless of their pathogenic characteristics. There is another mechanism that specifically identifies and destroys pathogen and break through their general immune system. Non-specific defense mechanism is a mechanism that protects us from all pathogen without considering their characteristic features. Lymphocytes are the blood cells that specifically destroy and identify the pathogens that enter the body by overcoming the non-specific defense mechanism of the body. Foreign bodies or pathogens that enter the body and stimulates the defense mechanism are called antigens. The defense mechanism that identifies the structure of each antigen and destroys them specifically is called specific mechanism. White blood cells, also known as lymphocytes, are capable of destroying pathogens in this way. Lymphocytes are formed in the bone marrow and are of two types. Those that are mature in the bone marrow are called B lymphocytes and those that mature in the thymus glands are called T lymphocytes. Now let us examine the role of lymphocytes in immune system. The mechanism of action of B lymphocytes. They produce certain proteins against antigens that enter the body. They are called antibodies. Antibodies destroy germ in 3 different ways. Number 1, breaks down the cell membrane of bacteria and destroys them. Second, inactivates the toxicity of antigens. Third, destroys the germs by stimulating other white blood cells. Now let us see what is a T lymphocyte work. The mechanism and action of T lymphocytes. 1. Stimulates other immune cells. Second, destroys the infected cells. Third, destroys cancer cells. Based on what we have learned so far, we can summarize the immune system of a blood in the form of a diagram. Blood and immune system. Rising body temperature. Production of antibodies. Healing of the wounds. Break down the bacterial cell and destroy them. Virus destroys the infected cells, destroys cancer cells. We know that blood is a fluid. It flows through the tubes throughout the body. There's another fluid that flows through the body like blood. An organ system in the body is made up of a fluid that is formed from the blood and reabsorbed into the bloodstream and the tubes that flow through it. The system is called lymphatic system. Lymph is the fluid that is formed in the blood and reabsorbed into the bloodstream. Lymph plays an important role in the immune system like blood. Now, what are the components of the lymphatic system? Lymph duct, lymph nodes, spleen. Now, what is the role of lymph in immune function? Numerous lymphocytes are found in the lymph. These kill pathogenic bacteria in the lymph nodes and spleen. Didn't you understand a lot about our body's natural immune system? Then see you again with new knowledge useful in everyday life. Bye.
3 ലക്ഷത്തിലേറെ വരുന്ന ചോദ്യോത്തരങ്ങൾ ഏറ്റവും കുറഞ്ഞ ചിലവിൽ സ്വന്തമാക്കുവാൻ ഉടൻ തന്നെ ഡൗൺലോഡ് ചെയ്യൂ ENCLAPS The Learning App.